Sunrise Movement said, "We have a lot of respect for Michael Moore. Unfortunately, the inaccuracies in his climate film do a disservice to his entire career and the hard work of the climate movement. Tell your friends, cousins, aunties, Planet of the Humans is bad," capital letters. And then they link to a Vox article that talks all about the problems with the movie. But they also retweeted an interesting tweet from, which is the response to this movie from Michael Moore's former fact checker. And I think this is really important to read because she has deep insight into how Michael Moore has done his movies before and how it's different now, this time. Her name is Joanne Doroshow. She says, quote, "I was not going to step into this mess, which many people have contacted me about over the last couple of weeks, but because of my anti-nuclear background and my familiarity with all that went down in Midland, this one particularly pained me. So I am breaking my silence. I was involved in the research and fact-checking process for various of Michael's films, TV, and book projects from the 1990s through 2007. During that period, Michael cared enough about the accuracy of his films that he complied when others told him he had to make changes to reflect facts and reality. I personally factually annotated some of these films and put entire fact-check Bibles on film websites. I dealt with studio lawyers doing fact and libel checks until they were satisfied. Believe me, by the time these projects saw the light of day, they were airtight. The director of this new film was someone we never let near the fact-checking process. In my experience, he seemed attracted to conspiracy theories and information that was not factual, and I believed in his influence on Michael could be damaging to his films. I cannot speak to what happened to Michael's films after I stopped helping to ensure their accuracy, but it is excruciating to see what has happened now, although it is not surprising. People disturbed by inaccuracies in this film are not, quote, haters. They are, like I, pained by them. The factual errors should never have happened." And that is from someone who has been with Michael Moore throughout his career. And it really, her intuition that this guy, and I'm forgetting his name now, Jeff Gibbs,
who has been a Michael Moore producer. Like I think he was involved with Bowling for Columbine and going way back as well.
So he's got a tendency towards conspiracy theories, doesn't know how to identify factual information, which has just been made completely plainly clear in his debut film, which is an atrocious mess. And so that was Michael Moore's former fact checker responding to the film. And I just also wanted to mention Extinction Rebellion's response. They basically just passed the mic over to George Monbiot, who some of you may be familiar with. He did a pretty in-depth Twitter thread on population growth, lots of graphs and details and data, and talked about a lot of the potholes that people fall into, many of which Jay pointed out just a few minutes ago. And then he ends it with his piece in The Guardian called "How Did Michael Moore Become a Hero to Climate Deniers and the Far Right?" And so, Extinction Rebellion, Sunrise Movement, they are the movement. They are the young people getting involved with this. Fridays for Future, what Greta Thunberg has worked on. This is the next stage. And this is what Bill McKibben had been hoping for when he started working on this so many years ago. And now we're at the next level. This is a massive, massive movement. It is youth driven. These groups are focusing on climate justice. They are focusing on people of color and the inequities in our system more than ever before in the climate movement. And that is positive. That is progress. And that is what will move us forward. And so to throw up our hands and act like nothing's good enough and will never get any better is absurd and the major problem with this film.